The Miami Heat just made a solid move, getting themselves some more firepower. They acquire Terry Rozier from the Charlotte Hornets in exchange for Kyle Lowry and a 2027 first-round pick. Rozier, who turns 30 in March, is having a career year. He will definitely give the Heat's 20th ranked offense a much needed boost, and the pick going to the Hornets is lottery protected in 2027 and unprotected in 2028 according to ESPN's Woj. Lowry turns 37 in March, and he is on a $29.7 million expiring contract, and he's likely going to get bought out according to ESPN. I love this deal for Miami. I mean, they just made the NBA Finals last season, and now they turn a veteran on an expiring deal in Lowry into a guy who's averaging 23.2 points and 6.6 assists with a 57.4% true shooting percentage. And this was while taking tough shots on a bad Hornets team. The Miami Heat are playing chess while everyone is playing checkers. What's going on, everyone? It is Luca here, back with another video. In this one, I'm going to be talking about the Miami Heat's latest trade that they made and why I think this is an absolute win for Miami, and this makes them lethal in the Eastern Conference. If you guys can do me a favor, please hit a like on the video. It helps it a ton. And also, please subscribe to the channel for more Heat and NBA content just like this. So, like I just said, I mean, the Heat replacing Kyle Lowry with Rozier is an absolute win. And you look at, what the Heat are bringing in and what they're sending out. Rozier's addition at Lowry's expense is going to be an offense for defense trade-off. But Kyle Lowry, I mean, look, I'm a Raptors fan. I have a lot of respect for what he did during his time with the Raptors. But with all due respect, Kyle Lowry is no longer capable of being a starter for a team with championship aspirations. So you looked at the situation with the Heat. He's on that big contract set to expire after the season. It was very obvious that if the Heat were going to make a trade, he was going to be involved in that trade, and here we are. And Miami, I mean, they needed an offensive punch, and Rozier can provide exactly that. He doesn't need to dominate either, but he can initiate offense and play make while giving some much-needed assistance to the likes of Jimmy Butler, Bam Adebayo, and Tyler Hero, especially come playoff time. And you look at Rozier, he can certainly get hot and be a huge X factor and have moments where he can certainly take over. I mean, he's making 39.3% of his pull-up threes, and according to Cleaning the Glass, he's making a career 50% of his mid-range shots, including 51% on long twos. He gives Miami another player who can take advantage of mismatches and straight up get buckets. The Heat, they got numerous of playmakers around him. So Rozier's looks are going to be way easier than the tough shots that he had to take and make in Charlotte. And then, you look at the two-man game with Rozier and Bam, that is going to be effective right away. And then Rozier, I mean, he can be a pest too defensively. While he's not the defender Kyle Lowry is, he's 6'1" with a 6'8" wingspan, and he can definitely wreak some havoc on that end. And you look at this deal, Miami will save $15.4 million in luxury tax payments this season because of the swap, and it will create a $6.4 million trade exception per ESPN's Bobby Marks. And via Barry Jackson, Tyler Hero is excited by the Rozier trade, says they will be able to play faster, senses this gives this group a needed emotional lift in terms of outside spark. And then you look at this Heat team, guys. They now have 4 players averaging 20-plus points this season in Rozier, Hero, Bam, and Jimmy. And while I don't think Rozier is going to continue his career year in terms of his points per game, that's probably going to come down a bit because I don't think his usage rate is going to be nearly as high as it was in Charlotte. That's obviously a given, but Rozier is still going to be a very, very effective scorer at point guard, initiating offense, and really just being exactly what the Heat needed next to Jimmy Butler and Bam Adebayo. And I mean, we saw it during the playoff run, towards the end of it, right? Especially in the finals. Obviously, the Heat were undermanned, no Hero, but they were lacking another guy who could create offense outside of Jimmy and Bam, and they really needed another guy to, find his offense, and now they got one. I mean, Terry Rozier can initiate offense, and he can definitely help Butler and Bam, in some of these games that they're going to find themselves in when the Heat need a scoring spark. So Terry Rozier, he has the skill set and confidence to, cook up under pressure as well. And that's what I really like about his game. Like, Terry Rozier is quietly a clutch player. And you look at most clutch three-pointers over the last 5 seasons, guys, Rozier has 56, and he's tied with none other than the greatest shooter of all time in Stephen Curry. So don't sleep on Rozier's ability to also perform under pressure and perform in the clutch, which again is just going to be huge assistance to the likes of Butler, Bam, and Hero when the Heat are in their playoff run. And you look at the Heat's projected starting 5 now: Rozier, Hero, Butler, Hawkins Jr., Bam Adebayo. Like, that is a very, very compelling starting 5. And, you know, the Heat, they do have some nice depth as well. They're putting themselves in a nice position here that they're once again going to be a headache to deal with. Again, the Heat are playing chess. I mean, while everyone was talking about them making the big splash, you know, going back to this past summer with the Damian Lillard sweepstakes and then Donovan Mitchell's name being brought up, the Heat just made a very good under-the-radar move that will really help this team in the grand scheme of things. Miami getting any type of legit scoring guard, which is exactly what they needed, will instantly make them a contender. And Rozier, I mean, he is a legitimate scoring threat. And this is what Celtics fan Bill Simmons had to say about the trade. He says, "Any BS Pod listener knows I've been terrified of Miami the most this whole time. Not Philly, not Milwaukee, just Miami. They were always Barzini this year. With the Lowry expiring plus picks, Rozier is an absolute home run for them. Celtics still need a bench guard with size, FYI." And look, I know it's still technically early to talk about the playoffs, but not really. The Miami Heat are going to be a scary team. I mean, it doesn't matter where this team finishes in the East. I think the top 3 is a lock. Celtics, Bucks, Sixers, and then, you know, the Cavaliers have been hot. They're probably going to find themselves in the top 4, and then the Knicks have been playing very, very well since the OG Anunoby trade. They're also rolling. So even if that's the top 5 in the East, and let's just say the Heat don't get into the top 5, they're still going to be very, very tough to deal with as, you know, a 6 seed, if not better, because there's obviously still a lot of time for the Miami Heat to, you know, work their way up the Eastern Conference standings. They're 2 back of the Knicks at the time of this recording. But Miami, it doesn't matter where they're at. I mean, we saw it. They were a damn playing team, and they still got all the way to the NBA Finals. This is the team that those heavyweights, those contenders are going to have circled, and they're definitely not going to want to see Miami in the playoff series. So this Heat team is looking even more of a nightmare to deal with this time around because, you know, obviously Hero's healthy, and now they have Terry Rozier, who I think is just an amazing addition for this team. So Heat fans, let me know your thoughts on the trade. Comment down below, drop a like on the video, subscribe to the channel if you are new. That is it for me. It's Lucas signing off. As always, thank you so much for watching. I will catch you all again in the next video.